Welcome back to our Python class, and today we will continue working with SQL, but instead of using dbeaver or some other online or database management system, we'll actually use Python directly. So how does it work? Well, basically we'll need a library, and the good news is that SQLite support is built in the language. It's actually built in the standard library. So boys, all you have to do is import SQLite 3. If you want to use another database, right, Postgres or Oracle, right, or some other database, then you will have to import, pip install the appropriate driver. And sometimes some databases have multiple, competing drivers, and you have to decide. But for SQLite, your choice is simple. You just use SQLite, and no need to worry. So we'll go to our materials, day 22, 2023, right, notebook SQLite Python, and so we're going to import Pandas. Maybe we'll use that later. But we'll import SQLite 3, right? So SQLite 3, right? And we'll create a new connection, right? And create a new SQLite 3. So let's load that and create a new connection, right? Only thing is, of course, I should also activate this environment, right? Let me just load something. Let me load something. Where's my? Do I have anything? Oh, I'll load this one. MySQL, where's my shuffle, where's my anything, DB migration, something simple. I want to do something, well, maybe some notes, or just, I'll just notice, I will run this here. So when scripts activate PS1, just in case. Yeah, okay. So now, right, so anyways, I'll run it again, just in case. Right, yeah, virtual environment, everything's okay. All right, so create a connection, open a connection, yeah, open a connection database will do. Connection, right, because Chinook is in the same folder as this file. So right, so that's simple, right? It's that simple. Get status, right? Maybe print con basically. Let's do that. Yeah, connection object, right? And it worked, right? So if I do something in Chinook, maybe bad, right? Like something like this, right? I'll close this good one, right? It should give me an error, right? But actually, it will make an error. It will make a new database. You see, Chinook bad actually creates a blank database. It will create a blank. We'll create a blank brand. Yeah. So actually, fresh. Right. So again, so I will close this one. I will delete this. It's a blank one. It's like an empty file. So I will delete it. Right. So yeah, but we want to delete permanently, right? Right. Oh, because maybe right. I need to close actually. Con close, right? Con close, right? Yeah, I need to close that. Yeah, and then I think I can delete right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it worked now. So yeah, you have to close. You have to close the database if you want to save changes. To persist changes basically. Perform any changes, right? Okay, so close it, right? So yeah, and so let's open up our good one, right? So good one, right? So con, yeah, and right. All right, so we can see, yeah, and let's do it now. Yeah, well, I don't want close, right? So I want close right now. So let's do it, right? Yeah. So we would like to actually. The simplest thing we can do is actually I'll import Pandas as PD, right? Right. Yeah, I can load it. Let's say load tracks database the table into data frame. Yeah. Right. Select all from tracks. It's that simple, right? It should be that simple if I have not. Right, and let's see, indeed, and that's it, right? So very nice. And of course, now you have, joins, that's up to you. You could do joins as well. So now, of course, now you can do, now you can perform, now you can do the usual Pandas stuff, right? Exactly, right? So that's the usual Pandas stuff. So that's one way of doing, right? So you don't, if you don't feel too comfortable with the database, of course, again, different hammers, different tools for different jobs. Again, SQL actually is not a great tool for analysis. It can do some aggregations, some groupings, it can do some retrieval. It's great for retrieval, for storage, but for many types of search and analysis, for deeper stuff, you can theoretically do it, right? And there are some SQL wizards who do everything in SQL, even make games in SQL, but it's not really the right tool for that, right? You can do it, right? But again, it would be like fighting, with the one, not using the right tool. But okay, of course, depends. Use what you are comfortable is. So again, remember, you can also. I also had a view. If you remember, I'll open up dbeaver, right? I'll open up a dbeaver as well. I had a view, right? So it won't pick up. Open a view, right? Select, load view into data frame. So, right. From invoice item, but that's not the right query. Of course, it will work, right? It will work, or my view, track view. I'll call it track df, right? But it's not the right, not what I want. But I have, if you remember correctly, right? Thank you, tips. The beaver I had. It's much more comfortable to use the database management system instead of using, Python, just do regular queries. But if you want to make some sort of application, inevitably you will want to, have a program access the database, right? So again, so these are tracks, right? But I have my views. Remember, we made a view, a nice, for example, rock songs view, right? So any of these views, right, we can use, right? Assuming you have it, right? So view rock items, my rock df, right? From, view rock songs, Again, one of the downsides, of course, is this: you have no syntax checking, right? Rock df, and it should work, right? You see, nice, And let's see your data types. Let's see your data types. I think some of them might be correct, some might not be. Info. Object, integer, float. So some of them are actually quite nice. So genre, artist name, of course, it's all correct. These are all strings, and these are integers, and this is a floating point, price. So, okay, right, you can think of some other data types, but yeah, this is pretty decent. Already a good start, right? So, yeah, that's how you can do it. And again, you don't need too much. So if you're not yet comfortable with the database, but of course, we can do any type of query, right? We can do, we can limit only, we can do the filtering in our you use filtering in df, right? Or when it's already in your computer memory, right? Because data frame lives in your computer's memory, right? You can filter also before in a database from the file. So it's up to you when you want to do filtering. So you can do filtering. You can do filtering in Pandas. You can do filtering, yeah, in SQL, right? Right. So, right, in Python. Well, yeah. Pure Python. Well, pure Python also you could do it, but let's do example. Let's say let's filter view by genre, but it's not much point, right? By but we have minutes, by minutes, right? That's simple, right? Yeah, you see, we filtered on these minutes are over 5 minutes. You trust me, right here. It's already here, right? So works, right? And the head, of course, is already filtered, right? So we can do also tail as well, right? Let's do tail. Maybe tail. Yeah, 6. Okay, so that works. So how would you do this in SQL? Let's do this. Let's do the same query. Let's do the same query in SQL. Well, so I will do it in a, basically I will do this long rock songs, right? Long rock songs would be what? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, AI. Select all from V rock songs where minutes over, right? So questions, when do you want to do this, right? It depends how much, well, it depends how big your database is, right? If you have I know, hundreds of millions of songs, you probably, right? So if you have a huge database, you might want to filter earlier, right? In SQL, right? If you have plenty of, if you have, yeah, so that's up to you, right? So again, of course, there are other ways of filtering. We can, of course, filter just using, I don't know, regular SQL Python lists and so on and so on. And of course, I hope you trust me, this is also going to be tail, right? It should be very similar, right? Questions, of course, Soundgarden, Men at Work, Van Halen, Ozzy Osbourne, and Stone Temple Pilots. Yeah, all right. So identical result. Again, filtering, of course, since we basically did the same query, basically, right? Except here we use the, the filtering using the data. It was in memory. It was not using SQL anymore. This is using Pandas. So this generally, if it's already in memory, it should be faster, right? Because, a database, we have a connection to this Chinook, but it's a file. It's not a memory. It's not in memory. There are ways of loading it also all in memory. That's also, it'll speed up your application considerably. But again, if it's in file, right, of course, it will, take a little bit longer to read than something from in-memory data, data frame which lives in your memory, right? So now you see how it works using Pandas. But we can do also, of course, individual queries. We can do queries without Pandas. Yeah. For example, oh yeah, of course we can do. Yeah, of course we do. So let's see. Example. We get cursor. So cursor. So this gives us ability. Right. You can use cursor to execute queries. So let's do something. Right. Get status. Print cursor. Let's do that. Yeah, it's an object, right? Not very interesting, right? Not a cursor object. It's a live object, but not very. There's no. I don't think there's any current. Is there actually? Let's see. Is there anything else between current? So current. No. So get. No. Get all tables. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Right. So select name from SQLite master where type is table. So this is a special query. This is a special query. This is a special. All tables net. Okay, and then show these tables, right? And show, yeah. Okay, so show all tables, right? So, right, current fetch all. So this will list of tuples, right? So my tables, table list, right? And let's print it. So this might be very nice. Albums ask. So notice also it's a tuples, single element tuples, right? There might be some technical reason behind this. Why not give you just list of items, right? Single, strings, right? It's possible you can have some other property added to this, right? You'd have to read. We can ask question why list of tuples, right? Multiple columns in table, yeah, that's not really the answer. AI is also not sure, right? Probably, yeah, that's possible, but not really. I'm not really, I'm not buying this, right? So you need to look this up. That's might be to do, right? I'll leave this. Find out my list of tuples, right? Why not list of string? Yeah, that means, so this is how SQLite library interpretation, maybe they thought when they decide, okay, maybe there's some extra property, because I don't see it here, right? But it's possible, right? So there's some also interesting, there's SQLite stat, right? So let's get all view, right? Let's get view list. So view list, let's get all views in our database. So view list, it's a view list, right? Equals what? Select name from SQLite where type is view. Very simple. Again, notice how we using the ability to have double quotes and single quotes, because we don't run into this double quote situation. And fetch all. So be careful with right. These are my views. You might not have all the views, but you should have most of them. These are so fetch all. Return. Be careful with fetch all. For large database, right? You don't want, you might, yeah. You can do fetch one to include one. So, example how to fetch rows one at a time. So for example, artists, right? To do, well, how to do it? It's basically not to do. So well, AI is just, so we'll do that. So get current, get first row, right? And well, not tool is I want something from our, let's say, our tracks, or maybe let's get from something. What else do we have there? What is good? Maybe we have tables. Let's go ER diagram, and well, we could get a genre ID. I guess we could, right? I guess a genre ID, that would be easy one, right? So let's get all genres, right? All genres, right? Of course, right? So this is of course res, you know, result, right? On get results one at a time. Very typical, right? So we could do this, right? Rock, right? That's possible. So we could also notice, of course, if I do it again, result fetch one, right? It will give you jazz, you know, of course, print, you know, print jazz, print, you know. So that's possible. So we could do it, of course. We could use a loop. Right. So for row in result, print row basically, right? So this is a good one, right? So fetch on, you know, so this should do it, right? And let's see it. Yeah. So yeah. So this is basically, so in a way, so think of result. So think of result in similar. It's in a way similar to how range works, right? It is an iterable, right? Right. It's not a list. It is so say it's ready to perform, but it's not ready. So again, so results. So when we do SQL query, you know, so it's very typical. So yeah, so fetch many, right? You can get, of course, we can. Oh, there's fetch all. You can do this also, right? So we could do that. The only notice, it's also going to be similar. This is not going to give you anything, right? Let's take a look, right? Let's take a look. Why? What do you think? Why? Let's take a look. What do you think? Is it going to give you anything? I think not. Let's try it. We get all the comment empty. You see, empty. However, yeah. In this case, it will give us nothing, because just like with file reading, we have to restart the cursor right to the beginning of the result, right? So how could we do this? I don't think you can do it. I thought you couldn't, but sometimes you can. All right, we have to basically just do it. So in this case, we would do a new. Yeah, so that would do it, right? So we could do it, result, right, on, we will get 5, right? So that's another way of doing it, right? So as you can imagine, this, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it works also like this. So fetch money, fetch one, and fetch all, or also use a loop. So you have 4 ways of working with this, right? I think this is also very nice, right? So you can wait, okay, yeah, I want to get this. So it gives you a list of tuples. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do something bigger. Let's do maybe customers. Yeah, let's do customers. Well, that's a big one, right? So let's get customers. Let's get customers from USA. Okay, sure, why not, right? So select all from customers where country is USA. Sure, right? On result fetch all will give me everything. US customers, right? List. Fetch all, right? And you know, I will print it. Right, notice how Frank, right? It's basically a tuple. So what this means is Google, right? They work at Google, right? And Microsoft, and Michelle works somewhere, nowhere. Some again works at Cupertino at Apple, and so on and so on. Okay, I don't know if this is real data. Probably not. I don't think it is. But so it's up to us. It is up to us to make sense of this data, right? These are tuples without column names. So how to get column names? Let's do that, right? Get column names. Get column names from customers. Yeah, so, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Type code. We'll see about this. I'm not sure this is gonna be, this is too much maybe. So, let's see, get column names. Is this really gonna do it? Yeah, customer, right. Oh my God, so yeah, it works indeed, right. So one, none. So apparently this is, again, a lot of extra meta information, but we only care about the first one. So a lot of extra, so a lot of extra space information, but we only need the first element, right? So we can get column names. So we could do column names. We can, yeah. So yeah, thank you AI. So my column names would be, yep, very simple, right? And column names would do, you know, that's why list comprehensions are so great, right? So we have a nice little list of column names, right? Again, all this work, of course, is done for you by Pandas. So if you, right, but you might want to do something like create a class, for example, right? You might want to do that. That might be a possibility, right? A very typical way would be to, one way to do it is create a class of customers. One typical task, one typical approach would be to create the customer class, right? So let's do that. Yeah, so yeah, we'll do that later on. Let's say so class, so class define, not define class customer. Come on, I don't want to do this by hand. I don't want to do this by hand. Okay, yes, thank you. Is this all? Was this correct? Yeah, it is. It is correct. So this is, so basically that's all it is. We're basically gonna pass everything, right? And then on basically that's all, right? And or constructor, right? Oh, where is this? Oh, where is it? Here. Oh no, that's it. Okay, we can also do wrapper. Okay, sure, why not? So that's self, yeah. So pretty print, right? Of course, this is just a pretty print, yeah, pretty print, right? Remember for string printing, right? So for printing, remember, or for printing, for printing. Okay, now, right? We have a customer class. We can use again no methods, well, except the representation, right? And just a constructor, right? Constructor, right? So constructor, right? Constructor, right? And now we can. I'm going to run this, right? So. Save, create a list of customer objects. So, right. So that's actually very cool stuff, right? Yeah, since I already have it, right? So I can do this, right? So what's happening here, right? Of course, this works. This works because will give me of the tuple as individual elements, right? Right, so if I did this, so this is the star, notice the star, very cool stuff, right? So you can have, of course, unpacking, right? We already did this, remember, unpacking, right? So print customers, let's print like first two, right? Print first three customers, print first three customers, print first three customers, on, right. Oh, did I make mistakes somewhere? I have an extra argument somewhere here. Okay. So what is happening here? So now we have, do we have something extra? It takes, let's read this. It takes 13 positional arguments, but 14 were given. So we gave something extra. So now we'll need to spend some time and figure out what did we give, what was not. So let's check, right? So how to fix this? Well, let's fix it here. US customers list 0, right? Yeah, so index, right? That's what we don't care about, right? That's one we don't need, right? Everything else is appropriate, right? Support rep ID, yes. Frank Harris, name, first name. Okay, so we could do, of course, fix it with ID, right? You know, database unique ID if you want, you know, we can do that. Let's do that. Since I'm lazy, I'll do ID, you know, primary ID, you know, ID, and then I will do it here, right? I'll make it here. Lazy I am. Come on, fix it for me. I'm lazy. Yep, thank you AI. Thank you AI. And now that should fix it. Let's do it. A class again. And we need to work it here. All right, so we have Frank Harris from USA, right? And this is our pretty print. Of course, we have access, right? Of course, we can access individual data, right? First customer, right? Right, and we can do, of course, first customer dot. You see, we have nice, or why we use, so this is extremely typical approach, right? You create a class for a row, right? In fact, it's such a typical approach that there are special tools which do this for us, right? And usually, right, so we can have fax, email, you know, job, company, for example, was Google. Was this a Google guy? And let's see, first customer phone number, right? And we have a, let's say a phone, or let's say a phone, right? Yeah, Google Incorporated on the phone number. This looks like, of course, non-existent phone, but yeah, looks about right. So yeah, so in fact, so this is very typical approach. This using data classes for storing rows is very typical, right? In fact, yeah, you can use name and tuples, of course. That's another alternative, right? Right. Also dictionaries, right? That's another approach, right? In fact, there is, well, what do we say? Right, you can do also another way. Okay, if it says so. Right, that's also possible. Actually, that's also, let's try this. Right, get cursor. We have a few more minutes before we finish this extra, almost finished today. Right, get cursor on the, let's see. Right, cursor on the row factory. Right, but that's something on, right, result. And can we do this? Right, get first row, touch one. But that's not really, that's the same thing, right? Get column names from row factory. Row keys. Aha, row keys. Row, let's see, we have row factory, and I think that's what's happening now. Column needs row keys on column values. Row column, okay, that works. That's an alternative row. It's not really, I don't say it's better, it's an alternative approach. I'm used to doing the above approach, right, by hand, right, but this is also work. It's an alternative. I would say alternative approach. An alternative way. Again, too many you choose. I don't think this is that much better, but you can do this, right? So you can have, of course, column values, right, and you have it, right, you can do dictionary. Yeah, that's pretty nice actually, right? You could do this, and then you have a row dictionary. Yeah, yeah, and you have a row dictionary, but it's actually a single row, right? So not sure if this is what we want. Actually, just get a single item, right? You have fetch one. That's why, because we fetched one, right? So yeah, not all, right? So that's an alternative approach. But again, I would say this class-based approach I think is nice. Because, well, you know, class, if you need something extra stuff done for customer, right, you can add some extra methods on top of it, right? It's up to you how you want to do it. Again, if you're just doing analysis, you start with Pandas again. But so next what we'll do is we will see next, we will look at create, update, and delete of data in SQLite. Okay, so thank you, and we will continue in the class.